Welcome back to The Gloves Are Off. Of course, I have my guest, Andrew Brethauer, and our co-host and our special guest, Morgan Messenger with the Lloydminster Bobcats. And our next topic, of course, the Conor McGregor mess. This thing kind of blew up Twitter and it blew up the UFC world. Conor McGregor, is he retiring or is he not? He tweets out that he is. Coaches said, yeah, he is. Everyone said he is. And then he comes back saying, no, not going anywhere. But he did, he did have this tweet or Facebook post eventually that kind of talked about why he was so frustrated with UFC. He said that he's paid to fight. He's not paid to promote just yet. He doesn't want to go do all these sort of interviews. You have like the main one that he's going to do in New York, but all these sort of promos that he has to do. Do you agree with him? Do you feel that the UFC kind of, for a better or lack of term, kind of exploits its fighters to do all that hype behind the fight where they can't really concentrate on what they're doing?
Not really. It's a business. You're in the business of entertainment, and that's what it is. The UFC is a business of entertainment. It's like any other sport. It's like we don't limit hockey players, baseball players, football players talking to the media because that's what you need to draw the crowds. If nobody knows UFC 200 is happening, no one's going to show up to UFC 200. The funny thing is he did a great job promoting himself with his tweets.
Well, he even said that tweet alone just got all the UFC promotional, advertising that they actually needed by one tweet.
And I can get he wants to focus on his training and stuff and maybe limit the amount of interviews he does, but this is the company you work for needs you to promote the event. That's what you do. Like, you guys do interviews all the time. You probably don't want to do them, but you do them anyway to promote what's happening with the team.
I think it's a little bit different with Conor McGregor. I think maybe the lower to mid-tier guys, they do have to go out and promote themselves and promote their fights. But with your upper echelon guys like Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey and stuff, they just by going on social media, Instagram, Twitter, they're promoting themselves way more than any single TV hit, radio hit's going to do. So I think it's a strong play by McGregor on Dana, to force Dana into maybe making some changes for the top guys, because the top guys, they're the ones that sell the tickets, and you got to cater to your top guys. You see the NBA probably does that better than any other sports thing. They sell their top guys. You can't get enough of Curry, you can't get enough of LeBron. The NHL doesn't do a good enough job about that. But when it comes to UFC, you got to sell your top guys and you got to let them sell themselves.
And you got to say, Conor McGregor has earned that right to be able to maybe say that he doesn't need to showcase himself as much. And he realized after his last fight that maybe he spent too much time hyping it. Do you feel like Dana White's making a huge mistake by saying he's not fighting on that UFC card, even though McGregor says he is, and Dana White's like, no, he's not? Who's at fault here, do you think?
Again, from a business point, I'd put him on, because now you have all that extra hype around all this, and it's more draw for people are going to come on to see him fight. Plus, his name's already attached to it. Have him on there. So from a business point, it's not wrong for him. That's his job.
But Dana White's saying he's not fighting anymore.
I know, and that's Dana's job, though, is to try and promote this and get him on there. So in a sense, it's a bad decision, I think, by him to take him off this fight, because now you got all these people talking about UFC 200 that he's no longer going to be on. And who are you going to replace that with? The UFC's running out of star caliber people. They really are.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of comes out of that little soap opera, hey? All right, so let's turn our attention to baseball. I know you are a huge baseball fan. Yep. Jake Arrieta, he proved himself to be one of the best, if not the best right now. We're kind of talking about it. He had a no-no in that huge Cincinnati Reds win that they had. And here he is celebrating, and I love that, running into his catcher's arms. That was his second no-hitter in 11 starts. Safe to say that maybe Jake Arrieta, would he be the best pitcher in the league right now? Or is this kind of he has his moments, and there's still, guys like, Syndergaard or Kershaw or something like that would be?
I think right now, the way that Arrieta's been throwing lately, his past, 10 months have been almost history books. So I think right now, but I personally think Syndergaard's the better pitcher. Syndergaard has better stats when it comes to fielding independent pitching. So just he's got a better strikeout ratio. He's got a better strikeout to walk ratio. He doesn't give up any hits hardly. Whereas Arrieta's got the lowest batting average and balls in play in the league. So that kind of helps him out. The ball goes in play, but they get out. So I think personally, Syndergaard is my pick for the best pitcher in the league right now.
So he still has some work to do for Arrieta to kind of be able to, because he kind of proved himself. People really knows him last postseason for the last post. So we'll see how this picks up because the Cubs need something, man. But here's some crazy numbers though that I stumbled upon. He allowed 4 home runs. He actually hit 3. This is since June of 2015. So think about that. He only allowed 4. He hit 3. His only loss came against a Cole Hamels no-hitter, and he has more no-hitters than losses. So I think Jake's trying to really. We'll see what Syndergaard has. And very quickly though, let's talk. I know you're a huge Blue Jays fan. And we have, are you a Blue Jays fan?
No, Red Sox.
Oh, you're a Red Sox fan. Oh, ooh, no. All right, I thought you were out east. You're from Nova Scotia. I thought you were.
Well, Boston's closer.
I guess so. Makes sense. All right, so let's talk about Chris Colabello. And, of course, he had a Cinderella season last year for the Blue Jays. And then, he really shined during the postseason. He had such a feel-good story for him. And then, of course, you hear that, hey, he was using an anabolic steroid, 80 games. How much is this tarnish? Can Chris Colabello fight his way back into being a mainstay in the league, or this is it? He's done.
If you look at his stats this year, I don't think anyone's going to give him. I think what hurts here now, and it's another thing in baseball where you have a guy who's used drugs and to get ahead, it's now going to hurt all those stories. That anytime a player now comes out from the minors or from 2 leagues down or anywhere and makes it to the big leagues, we're all going to start questioning now, is that player as good as you think he is, or is there something behind it?
But you're an athlete though. How do you feel it's so stupid when these guys are like, oh, I didn't know what was taking? When the league gives you lists of supplements and things you can use and what you can't use, when you hear athletes failing drug tests, what are you thinking as an athlete yourself?
I don't like it how he came out and said I would never tarnish the game. I respect the game too much. You obviously know what you're putting in your body. These guys are around the clubhouse too much. They're monitored from a day-to-day basis. So obviously he knows everything he's putting into his body, and I don't buy his excuse at all. He probably does feel bad that he got caught, but as far as his excuse, I think it's kind of lame.
Like you said, not really helping his game much. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have Over Under. Stay tuned.